It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's the podcast and YouTube series where we tattoo artists and piercer talk about some of the more common questions that those that collect tattoos and piercings may have. This is brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio in Death Before Decaf. So today we have Jack Lowe from Skin Kitchen, Westley Dickerson from Skin Kitchen. I see a pattern going here. And Jimmy from Skin Kitchen. Say hello, you guys.
Why are you guys being
What's up,
so
guys? How's it
quiet?
going?
You're so sheepish.
Sheepish.
I mean, hello.
I was
angled away from
occupying
you.
him.
You're
Sorry,
so
I was
loud.
acting like an
I
idiot.
have to.
Okay,
I was
so
told
you're
to.
distracting him.
Just a point away from him, but you
Shiny
can be
objects.
closer.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
But you can be
lead
closer,
into my
Wes.
zone.
I just want you to sound as good as you can.
I
right.
do.
I care
but,
about
like,
you.
I just
So-
want the rest of the
I
world to
care
know.
about
want you to be
you.
prominent.
We care about
I'm afraid I'll be on
everybody.
American Idol too fast.
Okay.
I don't wanna be up
Slow
there.
it down. He doesn't want to be
I
on
get
it.
that. I get
Yeah.
that. You don't want
But-
to, no, you don't overexposure. You don't want
Yeah.
to be overexposed. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you'd
Gotcha.
have to have the bigger.
I'll be more.
But also, your volume is just
You-
it's good. That's what DaVo says.
Yeah.
It's a good volume. It's a
Yeah.
good volume. I'm not loud
You can
enough.
scoot his mic up in this
All right.
thing a little bit.
He's got me
Well,
super hot, is what it is.
This is
Yeah.
kind
super
of a
hot
stage
mic.
mic.
He's got me turned up
Yeah.
super loud.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
can't hear me.
You yeah, it does sound good.
Okay, so
gentle.
If we were in the mob, we'd call him Whispers.
Yeah.
whispers. I think it's just
Kinda
it takes
not-
It needs
the
to be
beard.
Not a
like-
sexy mob name.
It needs to be
Whispers.
like
Yeah.
So I'm
Sounds
sure
better than
everybody would
Whisper.
love to have us talk about this for the next 25
whisper
minutes.
left
Sorry.
eye.
Sorry.
But what we're going to talk about today is what is the normal reactions after getting a tattoo or a piercing?
Or
We'll
during
start with-
getting a tattoo?
no, afterwards.
Afterwards? Okay.
Just-
You know, like the
Even
next,
just
next day,
afterward.
couple
Okay.
days.
Even,
Gotcha.
Yeah, even just there's a big difference in what happens exactly afterwards, depending on what you get, where you get it, who you get it from.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of some artists will get that kind of immediate rejection with some blood, and kind of have this first little horror show,
Right.
and then it chills out within the first 6-8 hours. It calms down and kind of goes on from there. Some seem to really never get into that. They kind of just they stay angry for a bit, and then they chill out, and they might just kind of get more of a sunburn type flake,
Right.
kind of healing on it. And then some people will tell you that nothing happened. It didn't scab. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know how much of that is there actually was, and
Well,
it just healed lighter than maybe their other tattoos. Right. So, well, what were you gonna say, Dan?
Well, I mean, in the normal reaction, like the thing I think I've been asked probably like 80 times is,
yeah.
I woke up the next morning and there was like a reverse of my tattoo on the sheets and a bunch of
Right.
blood.
Yep.
Is that normal or is my tattoo falling out?
No, okay,
That's
so
totally normal.
yeah, what people don't get is, to get to where we need to be to make the ink stick, to say it, as plainly as I can, you have to pass through those outer layers. And as you go through those outer layers, ink is going to be deposited.
Yeah.
And it's going to be grabbed
It's-
onto for a short
yeah.
time.
It's
and
excess ink.
after that short time, it's going to push it back out. But the stuff that's in the layer that is going to make it permanent is going to stay. So some amount of rejection you are always going to have, whether you wrap it with plastic or derma blend or seal or spray it with cement.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
You're gonna have some
Right.
rejection, because that's just how the
Exactly.
process works. We can't come in from the other side.
Body
Yeah.
just getting rid of the excess amount that it doesn't
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
and as you go through those outer layers to get to that pay dirt layer, you're depositing
you're-
ink all along the way.
yeah, you're
and the
leaving
ink out here
excess.
is gonna slough off, but the
Yeah.
ink that we put down where it needs to be is gonna stick.
There's
so you're
always
gonna have
excess.
that excess coming out.
Yep.
So that is completely
That's
normal.
normal.
Yeah.
And you can successfully wrap plastic, just like a normal household saran wrap. If you properly clean your tattoo, wrap it,
Yes,
plastic it.
absolutely.
At least the first few days to get through that kind of messy.
Back in the
Yeah.
day when they'd go home and wash it, you wanted them to wash it with as hot as water as they could stand, because it would open all that stuff up and cleans all that stuff off the top, so it wouldn't be red and swollen and infected the next day, which back in the day people would go, oh, my tattoo's infected. Well, first off, tattoo infection doesn't start until over 72 hours or more, so it can't possibly be 4 hours later be infected. That's not possible. What it is where it has all the debris, the excess ink, from the paper towels, the wiping, the spray, the clean, the
it's very
splatter.
angry.
Yeah, it's very angry. And you have all that access on top of there, and that's dirt to that new layer that's been exposed. So that's why they wanted you to go home and wash it and clean it very well and get all that off.
That's an interesting idea to kind of immediately
hot
try
press.
to get rid of that excess that's
Yes.
going to be in those outer layers by
Yeah.
taking a warm bath or a sauna.
Right.
And kind of getting rid of that at first, so then the scab has less in
Well,
it.
then if you keep it moisturized,
so it could be lighter
Yep.
and have a much more comfortable heel in the
It's
long run.
just like
That's
the
interesting, yeah.
new stuff like Sanoderm and stuff that we use, the Second Skin or whatever brand that you call it. Nowadays we have that, and that does that for us. You leave it on for 2-3 days, and when it starts coming off and peeling, you take it off in the shower when it's good and wet, and you hold onto your skin so you don't pull against
Right.
it, and you take that stuff off, and you're already past that heavy plasma is what's coming out.
Yeah,
That
plasma.
heavy plasma, which is trying to create a heavy scab, that's part's over. It's subsided.
And you should
and it's
explain
pulled
that
it
that's
back
part
in.
of your immune system. It's
Right.
your body's trying to seal off the wounds.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's multiple of them.
Right.
There are lots of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll refer to that first couple day kind of ejection is kind of your tattoo will kind of seem to sweat
Right.
because it's not blood, it's more
No,
of
it's
a,
more
a
plasma.
clear plasma, and it's kind of what your
Ooey
body's
and
putting out
goozy.
there to make a protective layer because that's going to
Yeah.
harden
Because it's
and
full
Make a scab.
It's full of white blood
exactly
cells.
that. Bingo.
gonna
What do
make
we
a
have
scab.
for them, Johnny? Yeah, so
So-
that's what your body uses to form a scab. That's why we tell you to wash it,
Right.
because it'll keep that scabbing
Down.
down, keep it more comfortable. Because if you have this big risen scab off your arm, leg, head, face, whatever it may be,
Right.
it's more likely to catch on something. If it catches on something, you just made like a ripcord
Yeah.
to whatever ink
Yeah.
that scab is
Yeah.
keeping in the
Yeah, you
skin
pull it
until
out.
your skin can close
Exactly.
that hole.
Yep.
So there's a level depending on, like I said, who does your tattoo, where it is,
Yep.
how you take care of it, how it was applied,
Absolutely.
all these things. You have a level of horror show or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really tough. But a lot of that can be normal. You can get heavy scabbing on a tattoo and it'll heal completely fine.
Yeah,
It might
absolutely.
take 2 months.
Right.
Seriously,
It
I've
just
seen
don't-
tattoos that
I've
just
done it.
take
I've done it many
forever
times.
and were overworked. And you know, I'm just like,
I've done
don't
it to
mess
my
with
own
it.
tattoos
Leave it
many
alone.
times.
You
Like-
know,
And it comes down to
And it
just
will.
Let my
it's
shit
going to
dry
take as
out.
long as it takes. That's what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Right.
yeah.
And a lot of the redness and agitation is a reaction to the trauma that you've created by getting a tattoo.
Right.
And I think a lot of people confuse that with infection or other problem or allergic reaction. It's going to be
Something
normal
wrong with
for it to be red and swollen.
If you're having discharge after like the second day,
Yeah.
that's a little over the
bit
top.
much.
Your tattoo should be
Well-
pretty chill and calm down. What about a piercing? I mean, do you get that discharge? How does that?
Well, I want to ask one more question.
Okay, yeah.
Do you notice a difference in the effect of the trauma in different parts of the body?
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the new machines, there's a lot less trauma, I think.
Yeah,
and that's what
they
I was
let
going
you
to
get
say.
away with a lot more. They
That's
really
what I was going
do.
to say about that second skin and that
Because-
Sanoderm and all that is that skips that layer, that having to go home, that process of taking care of it. It eliminates it because you have that 2 to 3 days, which you're not having to mess with it. Your clothes aren't rubbing against it.
Right.
It's not getting that inconsistent level of moisture. It's not getting plasma leaked out and wiped off and rubbed off. So it's compensating in areas and making it cookie
Well, and this
scab.
is what I think helps too.
And that helps a lot
is
now.
your body doesn't have to spend that energy on creating all that
Right, it's
initial
keeping it.
scabbing and everything.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's almost like your body is saying like, okay, scab's good.
Yeah.
We're good. We're just going to heal
Yeah.
this sucker.
Yeah.
So, or anything that is being emitted through the skin still is being kept right there
Yeah.
and can either be, I don't know, maybe reabsorbed
Well,
or whatever
yeah.
is in that.
That's your body
scab
throwing its
can help that.
That's your
along.
body's throwing everything you have as nutrients into it
just
to try to clean it. So
locked it
it
right
holding
in
it,
there.
pulling it back in.
The thing
it's
I like
nothing but
is
good.
it really takes a lot of the stupid mistakes off of the client.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially in those first
it
2
really
days.
Right.
it's carefree.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
totally
healing for
carefree.
dummies. Not to
Yeah.
make it so simple,
But
but
that's
those books
awesome.
were great. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah, right.
it's kind of like that. It gets
kinda
over that
is.
because the first 3 days or so of here's the healing that tattoo. That's the hardest time.
It
That's the
is.
most crucial time. And if I can help you get through that where you don't really have to deal with it, now all you got to do is take it off, wash it, and put a little lotion on it here and there,
Yeah.
and it's a little scaly for a couple days.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
because
I'm all
that's
for
when
it.
you're most susceptible to infection.
Exactly.
Is that first 3 days.
I've avoided you getting
With
anything.
anything.
I've
Yep.
helped you. It's probably, and we need to look into it. I'm not positive, but it's probably a really good idea to use on people that have any kind of like diabetes or
Yes.
I would imagine.
you know,
Or
something like
immune
that. Because
deficiency
that,
as
you know, or any
Absolutely.
kind
Other
of, you know, low
pre-existing.
Because they're
existing
more, they
positions.
would be
Yeah.
more open, obviously,
Yeah.
to getting an
Susceptible,
infection,
yes,
and they're
exactly.
gonna, and they generally take longer to heal just because their
You know.
immune system is compromised.
Right, and that'd be an extra
Kind
little
of
step
works
we could
just
take.
about on all the rough areas too. Your elbows,
Yep.
your
Yeah.
inside knees,
Yep.
you know,
The
things like
ditch.
that. All of those areas that are the toughest ones to heal up, where you're almost guaranteed to see their body working the ink out over.
Yeah.
You know, the inside of the arms sucks because as they're bending
Rub
and
and
extending it, it's pushing that ink out and sucking it in, pushing it out, whatever it is that the skin does with it.
Yeah.
That by having that layer on there, it holds, as you were saying, it
Yeah.
sucks it right back in. There's no place for it to go other than right back into where it came out of.
almost kind of just
So-
it's and I when I was looking into the product, it said something about holding and giving you more saturation, making your colors heal bright and all that. And I'm like, yeah, everybody kind of says that about whatever product they're trying to pump that has anything that says the word tattoo on it. It's supposed to.
Well, you
know.
used it on
But-
yourself.
It's supposed to
I
be
haven't
magical.
finished
Sorry.
yet.
My bad.
That was
Spoiler.
the preamble. Anyway, but after using it, I've noticed that there is something to that. Because even that outer skin that would have rejected, when you peel
Didn't
that
have any
stuff
place to
off,
go.
you're like, where did it go?
Yep, didn't have any place to go. It just found a way to
Right.
reattach.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
So the
think
place
that's
on my
awesome.
leg that I used it first, and I've been kind of, my test run spot, it was a really tough spot in the first place. It's kind of a stretchy, weird
Yeah.
spot that's in this crease in my leg. And it's I guess it's healed. It's still scaly.
Well,
it's kind
Maybe
of
now
dry.
as we're talking
but-
about this in a future episode, we'll have a 101 or a kind of a sort of
Yeah.
kind of time lapse of some
Yeah,
of us
maybe one of
using
us will
it.
get
We're
tattooed
still
and use it
using
on
We're
ourselves,
getting
and we'll
used to
You've
it.
got some
document
on
it.
your brains right now.
And go through the process.
Yeah, you got
of
some on your
removing it
head.
properly
Yep.
and et cetera would be
As
nice.
we're talking about this, yeah, I guess.
What was that, Dave? I'm sorry.
And having some some footage of properly removing it and putting it
Yeah,
on,
yep. Yeah.
et cetera would
How
be a
it's
good
healing
idea.
up over
Right.
those 2 days.
We'll document it.
Kind of like what we did with my tattoo.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be fun.
And me
Mine's
and
a
you
nice
went and moved
example, but I think
furniture
there's a-
that weekend after
Yeah.
you tattooed yourself and used it.
There's no way I could have
So,
done that.
yeah, you would have never been able to do that with your jeans. It's- Nope.
Now, one other question that's common is bruising.
Yeah,
is that
some areas.
common? Where is it in a certain areas?
Some areas are
isn't it?
more like the ditch bruises more. When I got my temple tattooed, my eye it looked like I had a black eye.
Mm-hmm.
And we were using the old rotary machines back then, and Reverend Bob did it. So you remember how hard he tattooed,
boy.
Ooh, like a hammer. Mm-hmm. And he tattooed that blue in there, man. And it's still just as bright as it ever was,
Right.
Hidden bone, back off a
Yep.
quarter of an inch.
Yeah,
But,
the
it bruised
inner
my
arm.
face.
I've had inner arms,
Armpits.
necks. I've had ribs bruised,
Kneecaps and
when I got
behind
my
it, I bet.
throat done. My eye
God.
bruised down almost
I bet.
halfway down my chest. I mean, like the
bet that was
green
brutal.
kind of
Yes,
purple
indeed.
looking
Oh.
stuff. Yeah,
Right here on the
so
forearm.
part of
I
that
was a
I
heroin
think,
addict.
yeah, part of that
Yeah.
is just I think the action of the tattoo, and there just being a thinner type skin and maybe some more thinner wall, just
Capillaries.
Yeah, and I don't think they're quite capillaries, but you know what I'm
Whatever,
getting at.
yeah.
But anyway, I think that, and then plus the tattoo artist has to put some pressure on your skin.
Yeah.
has to
I've
balance
bruised
their
people.
hand and everything in
Stretching.
and just handling that area in certain ways can cause bruising too. So it's not wrong. It doesn't mean that something was done wrong, in my opinion. It's just kind of a product of what had needed to be done, and that's just
get
how
it
your body
job
reacted to it, and you're going to heal from it, and you're going to live.
So basically other areas are more prone to it, like
Sure.
joint areas, I would say, or any place where the blood vessels are close to the
It
surface.
seems like
face.
where the
hands.
in the like
Soft
the inner
tissue.
arm
Yeah.
is a big one.
Which I hate getting tattooed there, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, nobody likes that. Nobody likes
It's my
that.
least favorite place, one of the least favorite.
So what about piercings, Davo? What do you
Piercings, normal reactions, you'll usually see day after, you're going to see redness, discolorization, heat, where it feels very inflamed or feverish, and that's your immune system fighting off any possible pathogens. Discharge comes out a little heavier. You might see a little bit of slight bleeding off and on. In swelling. Swelling's a big factor when it comes to piercing initially, and you'll usually see that the day after. usually will continue a day or two and then stop or start to recede. And that's one of the reasons why sizing the jewelry is so critical.
Is that pretty much everywhere on the body it kind of will behave that way?
More, of course, places like it's kind of in the same direction. Facial piercings are probably a little bit more prone to it, especially oral piercings. Ear piercings, especially upper ear cartilage, or some of the more exotic ear piercings. There's like 20 of them now, I think.
So anyway,
and they
there's
keep
high
coming up with
blood
new names
flow.
where it's going to swell a little bit more. So that's why you oversize those pieces. Tongue piercings, of course, I've seen them depending on your diet, which has a lot to do with it. Whether or not you smoke, whether or not you drink alcohol, whether or not you talk too much,
There's so much,
it'll swell more.
Right.
And a lot of times people will think, especially with lip piercings, they'll think, oh, it's not going to swell, it's great, because it's a day and a half in.
right.
And they'll wake up the next morning and it's like, they're like Popeye.
Bubba gum.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we don't really know, so we overcompensate for it whenever we can. Of course, pain, discomfort, if you touch it, it's going to hurt, and you shouldn't be touching it. That's what your body, the pain is literally telling your body, or your body telling you, don't touch it. Don't move the jewelry. Don't rotate the jewelry, because all of those things will also increase the amount of swelling you're going to see. And combat that, and things that make it feel good, is saline solution. That's like the number one thing. For years and years and years, we've been suggesting doing compresses and soaks, but there was not really a product out there that was readily available where it was sterile in the can. There was some products that came out claiming they were safe, but they used food preservatives.
Ew.
And so that opens a whole another problem of people having reactions to it. And then there was piercers mixing up their own version with tea tree oil and all kinds of garbage in it. Basically, like Nelmed, just plain sterile saline solution as it comes in a can. It's easy to use, not very difficult, and it's something kind of nice to have around the house. Should be part of your first aid kit. We all experience as children skinning our knees and then going to the medicine cabinet, and mom or dad or aunt or uncle or whoever pulls out either iodine or rubbing alcohol and then pours it all over it, and the burning sensation. Saline will basically Bactriane. Why does it have a numbing agent in it? It's because it hurts so much.
Yeah,
Stings
so
like
bad.
And it's terrible for piercings. Don't ever use it on piercings.
bad.
But the wound wash, the saline will clean it without pain. It helps a little bit with the stinginess. It kind of numbs it out a little bit, and it also will help with inflammation because it helps restrict the amount of moisture that's in the area in the cells. So it helps a little bit with everything. It'll also draw things from it. It's great stuff.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Well, smack me and call me a monkey's uncle. I had
Learn
no
something new
idea.
every day.
I've thought about suggesting you guys use it, but the problem is that it's not going to clean anything off. It's not going to clean ink off, which is what you guys use green soap for.
But would it be helpful maybe after
Is it an
the
aftermath?
fact?
I don't know.
At the end,
It would have to
a quick
be.
soak on the end of the tattoo before you bandage it up or something.
Yeah.
Well, I just mean maybe at home to have it
Yeah.
home while
Yeah.
you're
Be
healing,
nice.
to give it to
Yep.
wash it with that before, and let it air dry for
I'd
2
have to-
minutes and then a little bit
We'd
of
have to
lotion.
do some research.
Yeah. So
'Cause I
let
don't
us,
know if
or
that
let us
drop-
know if you have,
let us
if
know
you've
what you
ever
think.
used that during the healing of your tattoo. Let us know, and because that's an
Because
interesting
my
thing.
concern is it's going
Tell
to dry
us.
out the tissue, which may draw some of that outer ink. It might help to just draw out that outer ink and clean it up a little bit. I
mean,
don't know.
as long as you're gonna keep it moisturized, because that seems like it could dry it out. But I've never really messed with it.
Yeah, and it's used in the medical industry and has been for years.
Yeah,
If anybody has ever gotten a cut and they go to the hospital and
They
they
say
clean
they
it out,
used, yeah.
that's what they're using. They're
Yeah,
not using rubbing alcohol.
that's
They're not
their
using
flush.
hydrogen peroxide.
Right.
Yeah, it's a sterile saline.
Yeah.
Just never
Neutral.
one of those
Yeah,
things that
I've
you're just.
never heard of anybody using it, but it's heavily
Yeah.
used.
I've
in
got
the
some
piercing
red
industry.
soap in my booth if you ever want to try it. It's like green soap, but doesn't have any alcohol in it.
Ooh, I like that. Is it supposed to maybe be less irritating then?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay,
And
might
I was
look into
using
it.
it before, like I came, I was on the road. But
Well,
I got some. I'll let you check it out.
Let a brother in on the red soap, man.
And maybe,
Alright.
and
I don't
maybe
want to hurt these
Keep
people.
secrets.
I just
Been here for
did.
like 8
And-
months now.
Right?
Keeping secrets.
I think we might have to get him in the chair.
Yeah, we're gonna have to torture him a
Okay.
little bit.
Well, we'll
Uh-huh.
document it so you guys get to see it.
Oh
One-
yeah.
one
Oh,
question.
Get that
though,
interrogation lamp on him. So
Yeah.
what else do you
yeah.
know?
Oh, and get
What are
the,
you holding out
the
on?
tray out with the
Nothing.
tools.
Yes.
Who else do you know?
Anyway,
The cage with the rat. Anyway,
the head cage with the rat crawling around inside the cage.
you know, like
You put the rat on their stomach and you put the bucket over top of them. You heat the bucket with a blowtorch when it gets hot.
Whoa
then
there,
that eats
Kelly.
it.
You know all the torture devices,
thinking
don't you?
I was thinking 1984.
Yeah, he's a sadistic fucker, isn't he?
Don't let him in here.
How many
Oh, you're gonna
fingers am
leak
I
that
holding
too.
up, Jimmy?
I just swore.
I think they're 4. I draw
What is 2
pictures
plus
for a living.
3?
I don't count.
And torture people with rats.
I watch
and
movies.
animals.
Anyway, back to
television,
this
movies,
tattooing subject that we have here.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe you know, average person probably doesn't know why you guys use green soap and what it's used in the process
Hell, I don't
of the
know.
tattooing.
Say again. He
I'm
was
sorry, I
knocking
was
on the
bog
table.
going.
Knocking, I think it might have been me. It was an
No,
elbow.
it was
It was me. I did it.
him.
I did it.
It was him.
It was me.
Right?
I did
him. Him.
I did it.
Okay. When it comes to using green soap or red soap, I guess is the other one. Why do you guys use that during the tattooing process?
I like it, and I've used it ever since my first day when I ordered my first little kit from Spalding and Rogers. It came with tincture green soap. And, you know, it's done a really good job for me my whole career. I use it.
Industry-wide. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything wrong with it.
Right.
It's a hospital. It's a basic hospital soap.
It's surgical soap.
That we buy in a gallon jug and we dilute it.
Yes.
So it's it's a very strong solution, but it's diluted very heavily. It's like probably 10%, if that, 5%.
It might be 10 to 1 or something like that, 8 to 1 maybe.
But yeah, it's just a basic soap for all you listeners who don't know.
Yeah, it's a general surgical soap. It's
Yep.
used for cleansing patients in the hospital before going to surgery and whatnot, and before
Yeah, it's a kind of a general, just all around
anesthetic.
good
cleansing.
anesthetic.
Cool.
Or
So
not
it's
anesthetic.
refreshing
Not
when
anesthetic,
we're
I'm sorry.
tattooing you. Everybody will tell you. See, the wipe down when it's green soap feels amazing on your
Yeah,
tattoo.
that cool,
Yeah.
fresh, it's soothing to the skin.
It's bracing.
I'd
It's
say
like
95
aftershave.
out of 100 people like it. I'm
Yeah.
one of the 5% that does not
not like
enjoy the immediate of the green soap. Some people are like, it cools it off. Me, that
Initial
that I don't like it.
Here, I thought
So-
you were a tough guy.
I know I'm not.
So-
That's why I have to do everything I can to look like one, or I'll be instantly
Yep.
attacked.
So you guys
I
use
get
it.
it. We're all faking it
Yeah,
until we
yeah.
make it.
Oh yeah.
You guys use it to prep the area, of course, and then
Yeah.
use it to
So
wipe off.
yeah,
excess
and it's
hair.
great for putting on stencils.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
used that my
I have.
whole career. I bought a new bottle of nuclear
We
green
recently
stuff.
switched over to the stencil.
I
type
didn't
stuff.
switch over.
We kind of started
You're
using
trying
it more.
it.
Using it
I'm,
more.
I'm, thank you. I'm trying it out.
I think you would like the white brand a little better, the stencil stuff, personally, because it's a little quicker. You don't have to wait as much. It's not as long
depends
And
lasting.
we
on
have
what you're
a
wanting for your
video
tattoo.
on our channel of the Jimmy did about stencils that kind of goes through
Yeah,
that
that would
process
be
too.
awesome
You
to
should check
check
that
out.
out.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
I'm
we'll refurbish it.
I'm trying out this product, and mainly for I thought it would be great for doing portraits and things that are really
Yeah.
highly detailed but don't really have an outline.
Right.
And so I've been testing it out, and I tattooed Diamond last night, and I used it just on these simple bats just to get some skin time with it because I'm just trying out. Because a lot of time, well, half the time I don't use a stencil. We're just working on something or
Right.
freehanding something in or something. So, and what I noticed, it's easy to use too much.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
pulls
very
off so much of the pigment off that paper that it starts
Yeah.
leaching and gets
You have
fuzzy.
to start
Yeah.
really, at least with both brands that I use,
Almost
you
wipe
really
it
gotta
off?
rub it into the skin.
Yeah.
And then, I'll take it.
Just kind of blot it off,
Yep,
maybe.
exactly.
I'll get like
Because I
I'll
blot
put
it
like a
and I rub
BB
it on.
size on it for
I
the
could
size
see
of like a
Yep.
hand size or
Or-
softball size,
Right.
like a
So you
BB.
spread it out like
Dab on
lotion,
my-
basically.
Spread it out.
I put
Right,
a
yeah,
dab on my
it's-
table as I've half set up and putting stencil on. I'll put a dab on the table somewhere, and I kind of dip my finger into that and rub
Ooh,
in
that's a good
as
idea.
I'm
I didn't
going
think about
in,
that.
Painting in, how much do I need? Okay, need a little bit more. I just dab my finger into this glob that I've set on the table.
That's a good idea.
So I just
For
squirt a big,
for when?
when I'm putting the stencil on, I just put a big squirt on the table there.
Oh, so
dip
you
my
can
finger
just
on,
kinda
rub it on
dab
the
it.
skin.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a
need
good
little
idea.
More, a little bit more.
Okay.
And I just keep working my way until I've
gotcha.
got enough. That way I'm not overdoing it.
I like
And I
that.
keep it right at
That is a
at
good
the same
idea.
amount.
I'm doing that now.
It's taking
I'm
a
stealing
little
Yeah,
that.
we're stealing it.
There's a
Stealing
little bit
it.
of, techniques over the time. It's
Yeah,
taken some
thank you.
trickery
I'm
or
gonna.
whatever.
I
Thank you,
like
sir.
that. Because, it shows,
Cheers,
like
bro.
you
That
see
was
the
good.
thing and it just shows you, put it on your glove. And I'm like, that just seems
a little
weird.
bit goes
Yeah.
a long way. Once you got streaks
Yeah.
between your, like if there's
Yeah,
leftover
exactly.
lotion on the skin, you're right. It
Right.
bleeds.
Yeah, it makes a
it's-
mess.
So you got to get
Plus-
it into like
Nice and smooth.
Plus, squeezing it out onto the tray. That's creating
Yeah, that
another
keeps it-
level of
Yep.
prevention. Of,
yeah, you're not
of
going back to the
isolating.
bottle. But even at that point, you haven't broken any skin yet because you're still sniffling.
Yep.
Still,
Yeah.
it's always a good idea. To
Yeah, it
just
looks
one
bad, but it's a
time,
good
idea
done.
still.
if there's one doctor or nurse who is overzealous and can call you out on it, they can't anymore.
No, and
Absolutely.
I wouldn't blame him for doing so. That's
No,
a great
yeah,
idea.
it's a
Just
great idea.
dispense
Put
what
it
you
on the
need
thing.
and throw
Yep,
away what
I
you don't
agree, yep.
use is way better than dispensing it on
I
to
agree.
a
What's
glove,
the extra
even if
drop
the
that you
glove is
wasted?
fresh.
A little bit goes a
If-
long way.
If some
That's
sucks
why-
back into the bottle,
Right. It's contaminated.
That's why I use the little foil packs of lubricant because they're little 4 ounce or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use 4 ounce
I
lubricant on
think
a
they're an
piercing,
ounce.
or maybe
The
it
A
is.
and D packets.
Yeah.
Well, what I use is it's like Surgilube.
Okay.
It's a
Oh,
lubricant.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, because we've been using the A&D packets.
I really
I
like
like
those
it.
so
It's
I do
so
too.
much easier just to
It's a
open
lot
that
less
thing.
mess.
Yeah, I
Just
use
throw
probably
away.
one, even on a good sized tattoo. Every now and then, I might have to open another one for the bandaging process if it's a
Right.
big
Really?
tattoo.
Yeah.
The
But-
A&Ds
yeah.
packets, okay.
You don't like
use
those?
Them, I had to use them last week because I ran on my ointment that I like to use, the shea butter.
Yeah, it was weird getting used to them.
And it wasn't
Okay.
tough for me to switch over to them, but I was, even on the big tattoos, I lit out 2 or 3, 4 of them sometimes. But I use them to stick them down my caps and everything too.
So do
So-
I.
Yeah, I lay out 3 or 4 of them. I don't know then.
Yikes! Yeah.
We're-
Well, and when I first started using those at the shop I went to, I worked in Chicago. That's what they use. And I'm like, man, you got to go through tons of these. And they were like, you'd be surprised. One goes pretty far. And I was like, okay. So I, kind of went into going, all right, I'll just put out one and see how far it goes. And it goes a lot farther. I rarely have to, like, even on like a full day tattoo, I think sometimes I'll put out 2 or end up putting out another one halfway through the day. But they seem to go far, and it just seems less hassle than having this vessel and then having another product that you have to dip into the vessel.
That's fair.
And
that's true.
So, pluses and minuses. I like the vessel thing because you don't have a finite amount.
Right.
You have you can stretch it
Scoop
if
out
you
how much you need for a
Right.
tattoo.
But what I
so-
noticed, I was scooping out these huge gobs.
Right,
And I was
wasting.
having these huge gobs. So then when I went to buy it again, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to those to see. And I really end up using a lot less and throwing away a lot
Yeah.
less.
I was
absolutely.
using
So we're talking about A&D ointment, and I think you kind of finished your thought, hadn't
Yeah,
you?
well, I think I was saying something about the single use, just kind of keeping my overusage down,
Yep.
and it keeps one less product I have to buy, even though you have a finite amount of, okay, I can do 40 tattoos maybe, or whatever. You have this jug where you kind of can, it just feels endless in a way, but I think
Yeah.
that makes me use more.
I use
So-
expensive stuff, so I'm like not
Right.
stingy, but I've gotten it down to a pretty almost a
And-
science of a guessing.
And
game.
I've been using
So-
those freaking foil packs since before this. I mean, since Chicago,
Yeah.
which is dang near
over 20 years.
over 20 years. So that's probably it. You like Microsoft or like Apple or vice versa. It's just what's good for you.
What
and
I
what works.
the stuff I buy is more expensive, but it's literally a lateral transition's a preference thing. I like the smell better.
And I tried it.
But realistically, as far as the client getting the tattoo, it works just as well as anything else.
And
It's
I don't
just-
know if there's.
I used it on your head.
What's that?
I used it on your head because I know you like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Nice.
I know you don't like A&D.
In case
That's
you're
why.
wondering, Wesley's.
I like Shea Balm. I use Shea
Jimmy
Balm.
tattooed
So I used it on
Wesley's
your
head
head.
last night.
No.
Hey,
But
Dave
Yeah,
was
it's
saying
a
that
lateral
he tattooed
transition,
your
so-
head. So
Yeah.
now we need to insert photo of
Yeah,
head
we will.
here.
at some
We
point,
And so while we're talking about it, how is it healing? Well, how are you healing it? And what does your tattoo mean?
it's a Viking runes. It's just my name in Viking runes. You can't really get the direct translation correct or
Close as
right.
you-
Yeah, it's close. So it's as close as you can get, or as close as I wanted to get. And it's healing all right. It's only been a handful of hours. We use the second skin Sanoderm. Sanitac,
Yep.
Tachoderm skin that we were talking about in the previous episode. Now,
Right.
earlier, and it's probably going to heal just fine. I have very good confidence with the way I've been using it on my clients. One of the cool things I really enjoy about it is that it's really a whole lot more helpful for the clients that say I work in environments that's dusty or have clothes on or things are rubbing on it. Mm-hmm. That cuts down because there's a layer there where things are rubbing on that layer, but it's not rubbing on it.
That's one of my favorite things is the comfortability.
The equivalent of having your fingernails scratching across your skin versus putting your clothes between it. You feel that pressure of your fingernails scratching across yourself if you've got clothes on, but it's not scratching your skin. And it's the same thing with this, it's not roughing up your tattoo
and that's
itself.
something I'd forgotten about. Because I'd been so long since I got a tattoo, but when Jack did this, it's just like sitting on the couch and raising my arm, and depending on what shirt I had on, was rubbing against that thing and agitating the living hell out of me.
You guys, you pointed out that I'm wearing my hat and these headphones earlier, and my glasses. You notice all of it right at the same time. Like, but I'm not really worried about it. It feels that I'm very confident that it makes
I
me
forgot
feel
you were using it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you got that on you.
So it's kind of a newer thing that we've been using, and it's kind of come on the market the last.
Experimenting with it.
Well, it's been out for a couple of years now that artists have been playing with it, but with everything in life, everything gets a little bit better. Newer versions come out, and so now it's getting to a version that I've been much more pleased with. That I'm experimenting with.
It was designed by people that were working mainly in conventions and places where, like festivals and etc.
Is that where it started, or was it a medical thing?
I don't know, but the first people I saw
using it.
Yeah.
Well, and what a great for Sturgis.
We got introduced to it at Sturgis. That's when Tommy brought it.
Episode 2 of this.
Tommy Haley brought it.
And I just didn't give it enough time to really think about it in that regard.
So maybe here, when we put this particular episode out here, DaVo, we can include a link down in a specific link of a 101 or one of the shorter episodes.
We probably should do something.
Yeah, we can do something on it. That'd be a great idea.
You just guys need
because
to
it's
grab
kind
me
of
when
newer,
you're...
and we're experimenting with it a lot, but we're finding that I find that I like it. I'm seeing you guys are starting to really climb onto it too.
I'm starting to see the advantages and
I've picked it up from other tattoo artists too.
And especially for summertime coming up, for like going to the pool or
you
whatever.
Go to the pool, you can go to the
waterproof.
pool. It's waterproof.
It takes all of the babysitting out of a new tattoo.
I don't think 100% though.
Yeah, personally,
we're gonna find out. That's what this is
in the
about.
2 days of going to the pool. I don't know if I'd recommend them doing. I would say you can take a shower.
Yeah,
you can do the dishes. You can get it wet a little bit easier. Maybe not go swimming, but you're going to be able to get back to the pool.
Do the old
much
wonder
sooner.
bag trick.
And if you go into the pool, you're not going to ruin it.
I think it's waterproof, man.
It is waterproof, but do the wonder bag trick. Put the wonder bag on your arm, duct tape it on each end if that's where it's at, or whatever. Remember when you had a cast when you was a kid, and you want to go swimming, and you stick the Wonder Bag bread on it, and you duct tape it so your arm
does it have to be wet. Wonder Bread?
Realistically,
well, I mean, whatever brand of bread you like, man. But
when I
was a teenager, we would stick our arm in a bag and duct tape it if we had a cast on it, because we could go swimming and we wouldn't get the cast wet.
It's crazy how you have a technique for
I'm a redneck,
not getting a cast wet. Like you had that many casts that you came up with a technique for it is almost.
But enough kids in school.
Sad.
Kids in school fell off their
cool, I guess.
I had a dirt bike.
So did I. No casts.
Well, whatever. We had the 3-wheelers with the pull with the throttle and the thumb. And we had those. And we had frames.
I still broke my ankles.
I can't hear you.
I broke both my ankles. Or one ankle.
On a 3-wheeler?
No, one ankle and both my wrists. I never had a skateboard or a dirt bike.
How'd you manage that?
Plus, you're a generation behind, so you didn't get the benefit of having Evil Knievel.
And then Evil Knievel was my hero
on the planet.
Yeah. And then we had a half pipe in the backyard.
He always fell.
Yeah.
Wrecked every single time.
So you almost wanted to wreck if you wanted to be like Evil.
Yeah, you have to wreck.
But what I was saying, as far as the Sanoderm and swimming, is I would still give them the
spiel.
There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Don't go swimming with it. Don't bank on it. If you get a leak,
can someone fact check? Go on the Sanoderm website, please, quickly, and find out if they say it's waterproof. Because I remember when I was buying it,
I still would want to put that guarantee on myself for my clients.
Well, yeah, and I would probably say don't celebrate it, don't go swimming just because you can.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, if someone said, "Oh, I'm going
much
to
more elbow
makeup
room now to work with your
girl,"
it gives you a little more room to. Yeah, I guess I would
do
be
the
more
dishes,
comfortable. I would
take
be
a
more
shower.
comfortable if someone said, "Well, I'm going on vacation in a week,"
Yeah.
and they're getting like a little jammer.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "All right, I'll taxidermy when you leave, and then
Yep.
So give you a piece
extra
or two."
piece in
So-
case you
and
get in a
then-
hot tub.
So here's a
Absolutely.
question.
I'd be like, cool.
Here's
But
a question.
without it, I'd be like, no.
If you plan on going on vacation and you plan on getting a trophy tattoo of your, memento of your vacation,
Right.
maybe it's something you should purchase in advance and take with you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If you're going to get tattooed on vacation at a place that's beachy
Yep.
or whatever.
Yep, it'd be a great time to have.
I started using this because of a different artist tattooing on me, but Jimmy was the one who pointed out to me the uses of it because he has some or had some when he started here, but he didn't
Okay.
use it regularly.
We've confirmed it with the interns. It is waterproof.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
for that.
Perfect.
To what depth?
But
How deep can I swim?
It'll
Is
go
it 6
deeper than
foot?
your watch. I think.
Oh no.
Jimmy brought up he didn't use it regularly, but he used it at things like Sturgis
Yeah.
events
Yeah, we
because
got
he
introduced
knew
to Sturgis.
because you can't trust the bikers and stuff.
Well,
and people
because
out
they're
on
at the
campers
camp-
well, they're
and
at the
campgrounds
campground. They're running
Right,
around.
I
They're
know.
getting in
Oh,
hot
I know,
tubs.
it's
They're
perfect.
They're
going
hanging out in the
swimming.
summertime. They
Yeah.
don't care.
That's the perfect thing.
No, yeah, exactly.
And you know,
And
no, I
just
can't
started
say this
factoring
on
it
the
as my
air. So.
regular-
Don't do it.
I started factoring in my regular taking care of, aftercare now, just because it's safer
Yeah,
for
it
me
gets you-
as an artist to make sure it's taken care of, and
Yeah.
it's 2
It's kinda
days,
dummy
2 days
proof.
off there. Yep,
As long
exactly.
as they're willing to, go to grit their teeth when they're pulling it off, because it's sticky stuff.
if you
and
get
if
in
it's
the
on
water,
your arm
though-
and you can't use both hands, it's extra owie. What I recommend is having someone wash their hands thoroughly and hold the skin down as you're pulling off the product. Kind of hold the
Doing
skin.
it under running water, does that help?
You know what? I did it
I've only had it in
dry.
2 spots. It's my neck and the side of my head. and
I
don't
did it
think
dry today on my girlfriend Amanda's arm. And I did it dry, and I thought, because I did mine in the shower, and it still just came
You know
off
what?
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pretty
Try
rough.
my
Okay.
brand
And it
versus
came
your
off pretty
brand.
good.
I think that plasticky differences versus what my brand is, which isn't quite the same thing.
Okay.
Maybe there might, because with mine, I don't feel like there's a tough pull on it. It
Oh,
feels
great.
very low tech and it's very
Cool.
stretchy. Like,
Yeah.
when you get a new credit card in the mail or something like that,
Yeah.
that's
the
glue
gummy
on the
stuff.
back.
I'd love to.
It
Yeah.
kind of
if it-
stretches like that as you're peeling it off. So
Well, yeah,
Plus
this
it's
stuff
feel-
is
Is there
super
anything like
stretchy,
that for
crazy,
Yeah.
but
piercings,
it's
David,
the
or
tack's
no?
not
pretty
super
You have to
sticky.
open them.
I'll have to check that out.
So it's going to start a new trend on, because like a big thing when people are unboxing anything
Yeah.
is doing the pill. So maybe that'll be the next trend.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
sure.
Oh yeah, the
tattoos.
pill.
Well,
the
and
after.
I've seen that on
Instagram.
You guys shut up. I've seen that on Instagram. Of artists
Yeah.
doing that, and it's freaking mind blowing. Like I've seen huge thigh to knee pieces, and
Okay.
they'll be peeling.
Yeah.
Two people
I
be
missed
peeling these things off, and
Oh, I love
Yeah,
doing it. It's
saturation.
one of my favorite things. I do it
'Cause
on my
it's one of the-
Snapchat. It's like wet sex for tattoo artists. Watching that shit on Instagram, I like watch them peel that
Yeah.
stencil off. I'm like, yeah, that's
well,
the
then
best part
what
of the
you're
day.
saying is I blew at least $6, $7, $8 on the video I could have shot peeling it off of Amanda's arm today.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly
I really
what you
missed
did.
out on at least $7, $8.
No, it
Yeah.
could have been more because everybody's at home watching right now because we have nothing
Oh
better to do.
yes, the
Oh,
captive
untapped.
audience.
To all the captive audience at
Untapped
home, I'm
channel of
sorry you haven't
Pornhub
watched
we
us.
haven't hit.
First
right
thing I'm
now.
gonna do when I get home, I'm like, all right, come here, Amanda, come
That's
here.
later.
She's like, huh?
That's later.
Get out
The stencil peel. That's
Yeah,
the
re-put
best
it on
one.
there.
Stencil peels.
Can you wet her down so it's not so
like
sticky and do it again and do the peel later?
with like
Repeal?
some smoke and a low light.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, some candlelight.
Get it
some
wet.
marijuana.
What
Yeah.
you should do is
Spritz.
taper into a box before you do it, so that could be like the full unboxing.
All right, well, Amanda's gonna be moving out. So.
She doesn't
Well,
watch
not,
these, does
you know,
she?
make sure you
she
we can
does.
edit.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
lets me
shit.
know how good they are. She
make
watches
sure
them more than I
make
do.
sure there's
Great.
holes. You know.
My wife.
Oh,
lets me know
holes in the
same
box.
thing.
Oh, now
Yeah,
she'll
yeah,
stay.
yeah,
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 but there'll
yeah.
be holes in the box.
Oh,
you can
I saw
breathe.
this on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I'm saved.
Well,
Thank
let's
God
face
for
it,
that.
Didn't Justin Timberlake and them do a song about it?
That's a different hole in a different box.
Okay.
Gee, Merry Christmas.
Link in the description.
I don't even want to keep track of this conversation anymore.
Can we end it?
Yeah, we can end this.
Let's
I think
end
we
it,
did that
DaVo.
pretty well.
Au revoir,
You've been
Wiedersehen.
listening to or watching Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series. We post every other Sunday. We first post the video version, then we post the podcast version. This is brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, and Deaf Before Decaf. You can check out the links in the description for information about all three of those businesses and our involvement with at least two of them. And also, if you're listening somewhere and it gives you the option to subscribe, please do so. On YouTube, of course, subscribe. Of course, give us a thumbs up because we like it when you like it.
We like thumbs.
Yeah, we like thumbs. Thumbs are great.
They're positive.
It's
and
what
it separates
makes us
from,
human.
From snakes and dogs.
Make it fun to thumb wrestle and
Yeah,
play video
you know,
games.
Without thumbs, there would be
You
no
couldn't
thumb wrestling.
text.
there'd be no tattooing and there'd be no piercing because you wouldn't be able to grip
Think about your
anything.
texting
And not
game.
only that, but the most important thing, think how ridiculous gloves would look.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, 3 fingers.
Like a mitten.
Yeah, it would just be like a sock and then like these 4 little. Man,
I think that would look cool.
It'd be like shoes for dogs.
that's how we know who gets on the train and who doesn't.
That's all right.
Who
fair
thinks
enough.
a thumbless
That was
glove
good.
looks cool.
Okay, so also check out our merch
We
store.
tried to end it, but no.
Nope. Just keep pulling us back.
The thumbs, man. It's
It's
about
all
the
about the
thumbs.
thumb.
Every time I'm out.
Well, think about
Well,
it.
you can't
How
text
could you
without
text
'em.
without thumbs? You
Right.
couldn't play PlayStation or Xbox
Thumb-
without
yep.
thumbs.
You couldn't
Done.
tattoo and you couldn't pierce.
Couldn't pierce
You
tattoo.
need. I mean, when
I
someone
mean,
says
the
2
monkeys
thumbs
would be
up,
ahead of us if we didn't have thumbs.
if somebody says 2 thumbs up, I think that means a little more than we give it credit for. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
know how many
that's
times I
like
look at my
offering your
dog?
2 thumbs. Like,
Give us
here,
2 thumbs. We
I like
want
that
'em
so
actually.
much. You
Do
can
you know how
have
many times I look at my dog
thumbs.
Capone and I go, if you only had thumbs.
Oh,
you
actually,
could feed
that
yourself.
I do know that
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Anyway, are we done with this yet?
Yes, we are.
DaVo, it's not about you, okay?
went
It's
blue
about
again,
the
didn't we?
thumbs.
It's about the
I keep
merch.
We
going
just
to Discord.
discovered it. It's a thing.
I have thumbs.
Well, I discovered.
Have they been there the whole time?
Maybe we should.
Where did they come from?
Maybe.
Primate friends.
If you like us for one other reason or another, or would like to support the channel and also look stylish,
Give
at
us
the
your
same
4-finger
time,
gloves.
If you come out with
check out our
4-finger
merch
gloves,
store.
sure
There
what
are
they
not
are.
4-finger gloves in there, but there's plenty of
No.
other stuff. T-shirts.
we need a T-shirt with 4-finger glove. Maybe.
Right
well,
now, donate all your gloves to the medical
if we get a
field.
million
They need 'em.
views on this video, maybe.
or just make
If
one.
you do have a bunch of extra surplus of anything like medical supplies of anything, send them to the medical places right now because they need
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, your
Gloves, masks, anything. you have
yeah.
overstock
Call
of
your
that you
Red
don't
Cross
need.
or whatever.
Yeah, donate
um,
blood. Do what you can right now. You know.
If you got it and you're not going to be able to use it in the next
Yeah.
foreseen future, see if
sure
somebody else
somebody
needs
can.
it, man.
Yep,
Yeah.
and the
Stop.
merch, if you're even interested in that the least bit, is in the description.
Yeah.
Also, if you're on
Don't-
YouTube, there's a merch shelf.
Yeah. And don't support us right now with that silly stuff. If you take care of yourselves and everybody else that needs more care than you do. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
all that good.
If
fun
you know
good to
somebody
each
that's
other,
shut
please.
in, buy them some dinner to be delivered.
If
Or
Something
buy them
nice
a
and
more
healthy.
of us.
You know, I was thinking you could like go on iMovie or whatever, and you could purchase like a movie for someone and then send it to them, and
Yeah.
they click on it, and then they can watch that
That'd be
movie.
really
And if
cool.
you want to torture people,
Right,
you can,
would-
put this on endlessly and make them watch this.
How
Yeah.
cool would it be just to like your phone to go bling, and you open it up, and it's like the latest whatever movie,
Yeah.
and you just hit
The
it.
new
and then
Star
blam
Wars
mode.
that
That'd
they
be
just-
freaking like, oh, that's awesome! I've been sitting here doing nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Agree with me, Wes. Say
do.
it
I am
audibly.
agreeing.
I'm in it.
I am agreeing.
Audibly agree with me, right? All
man,
right. Anyway,
I'm
Davo,
about
please.
to capitalize
you
on
can
it. That's
Jack
how much I
Lowe.
wanted to agree with you.
The mute over there.
I know. I like clipping.
I know, but it doesn't sound great. Anyway, have we said everything we need to say? I'm trying to think here now.
Thanks a lot, guys. Check out our web store and
Yeah.
I'll see.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Don't get sick.
Hi, Wes. Don't get
see
sick.
you next
Wash your
time.
hands. Treat each
Wash
other
your
nice. be
damn
good to each other.
hands.
Wash your hands.
When it's all over, come get I survived a,
Yeah.
formerly known as
Survived.
C virus.
Yep. So here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we all hope to see you for your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Wash your goddamn hands, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay
Be
alone.
nice to each other.
And take care of one another. That's all we ask.
See you next
Be
time.
nice, guys.